Today, you're going to learn 10 luggage features to absolutely avoid before you buy a new suitcase for airline travel. It was incredibly frustrating, so I sat down to think of 10 terrible design features you need to know before you spend your money this year. Apply these lessons to whatever you're looking for. Traveling is a huge part of our lifestyle, and we almost exclusively pack in carry-ons. I want you to know this video is not sponsored. I own bags from many brands I don't show on this channel. This is just honest advice. The very first feature you want to avoid when looking for a new suitcase is wobbly handles. You absolutely need to have solid, sturdy suitcase handles because you are going to need to maneuver through incredibly crowded airports, and you are going to need to walk smoothly down the narrow aisle of an airplane. When you are traveling with a carry-on suitcase or even a checked bag, you want effortless, seamless movement. If you grab a luggage handle in the store or right after it delivers to your house and it jiggles loosely back and forth when you are trying to walk, completely avoid that feature. Trying to steer your luggage over thick carpet in an airport terminal with a loose, unstable handle is an absolute nightmare. And we cannot be bothered by that kind of unnecessary stress while we are trying to enjoy a vacation. The second feature that is really important when you are searching for a new airline bag is the design of the wheels. You have to check how the wheels steer, and you can't just test it on a perfectly smooth tile floor. With this bad suitcase I bought, I literally fought it the entire way through the airport. Here's how you can test this in person. Years ago, I went into Macy's and just tried out all these different brands that I had never used before to see how they handled. When you are testing wheels, remember that airport carpet is a very short pile, tight carpet. You want to find a really short carpet to test your new bag on. Obviously, you're not going to test it on a thick shag carpet somewhere in your house, but you want to walk across a low pile carpet and see exactly how the bag steers itself without you having to put a ton of physical pressure on the handlebars. With my bad suitcase, the second I start walking, it immediately tries to steer me hard to the right. It did that every single time, even on a smooth tile floor, which is what most airports have. So make sure you test it on both tile and low carpet to ensure it rolls perfectly straight. Our number 3 travel tip is to heavily avoid single wheels. Having single wheels on a bag doesn't mean the suitcase is an automatic deal breaker, but you generally want to avoid that feature for 2 massive reasons. Number 1, a single wheel is highly exposed and can pop off pretty easily when it gets thrown around in baggage claim or while in transit in the belly of the plane. Number 2, you want your wheels to be rugged and somewhat protected against uneven pavement. Think about rolling your bag over historic cobblestone roads in Europe, or even the rough, historic streets of Savannah, Georgia. Single wheels catch on everything and break under pressure, whereas double spinner wheels handle those environments beautifully. That brings us to the number 4 travel tip, which is to choose wheels that have very little friction. This reminds me of when I was living in Atlanta, and we would go rollerblading down the Comet Trail. The very first time I tried it, I had the absolute worst rollerblade wheels ever. If you spun them with your hand, they would barely turn twice around before stopping dead. That means they are slow and require a ton of energy to move. I'm not sure if rollerblades are the perfect comparison for a suitcase, but we are going to use the exact same logic when testing a suitcase in a store or in your living room. You want to stand with your suitcase and give it a firm push across a tile floor, the easiest, least friction surface you could possibly test it on. Now, when you push it, it might drift slightly to the right or left, so we aren't checking the straight steering here. What you are checking is the distance and momentum. How far will that suitcase go? How long will those wheels keep rolling on their own? If it glides for a long distance, you've got high-quality, low-friction wheels. If it stops after just a short distance, then you know you need to avoid that bag. Do not buy a new suitcase if the wheels have bad rolling momentum. It is the easiest feature to check for. Before we move on to number 5, if you are finding these tips helpful, we share weekly travel tips, gear reviews, and make your smooth. So hit subscribe to the list. The number 5 feature to keep an eye on, which isn't an absolute deal breaker for me personally, but matters immensely for many travelers, is the base baggage weight. A lot of you fly on regional or international airlines that are incredibly restricted on the weight of your carry-on suitcase. You always want to check your specific airline size requirements, and right next to that, they will tell you their maximum weight requirements as well. But always check the empty weight before buying. Our number 6 most important tip is a rule you must follow. Just like when you are shopping for tennis shoes, do not buy a suitcase simply because it is cute. I was totally 100% going to return this bad suitcase I bought. I even had the return slip printed out and ready to go. It was so easily attainable. But then I opened up the suitcase and saw the interior lining. It had this gorgeous striped lavender fabric, and it looked so incredibly cute. All of the little extra internal pockets and features were just adorable. I admit it. Stripes get me every single time. It's the exact same inside fabric that is in my two favorite travel backpacks. Because of that cute interior, I hesitated, missed my return window, and didn't return the bag in time before I had to use it. I loved that fabric, but the actual functionality of the bag turned out to be terrible. Sometimes in the travel gear world, you've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you finally find your prince. Can I get an amen on that? Don't let a cute design trick you into buying a bad bag. Tip number 7 is to absolutely avoid carry-on bags that do not have the extension of the suitcase shell going all the way down between the wheels for added packing space. When you are trying to pack everything into a single carry-on, you are going to desperately need that extra space of about 2 or 3 inches at the bottom. If you have that extra space included in the molded design, you can easily pack 3 more shirts in addition to all of your other planned travel outfits. I honestly do not know why so many suitcase brands completely omit this and cut the bag off flat at the top of the wheels. You are going to see so many suitcases online and in cheap retail stores that look incredibly inexpensive, but they are designed poorly. Do not buy the kind of luggage that is just a basic flat rectangle with 4 wheels hanging by a hair or hanging by a thread underneath it. Look for a shell that drops down between the wheel housing to maximize your packing volume. The number 8 travel tip is to specifically look for wheels that are somewhat embedded into the suitcase shell. You absolutely need that molded plastic protection for when you are going over rough surfaces, curbs, and stairs with your suitcase. For example, my old Travel Pro 2-wheeled suitcase, which is a style that is still widely available, has that incredible, top-notch, 100% top-quality embedded protection for the wheels. Now, personally, I just prefer a spinner suitcase these days because it makes going down the narrow aisles of airplanes so much easier, but that 2-wheeled design set the standard for wheel protection. That embedded protection comes on their larger sizes of suitcases as well, including my under seat bag that has successfully fit under 2 different airplane seats as rolling hand luggage. The takeaway here is that you want the wheels to be recessed or embedded somewhat into the frame. The really cheap, low-quality suitcases have those wheels hanging completely down by a thread with absolutely zero embedded plastic protection around them. Check for this. It's the single easiest feature to spot even from a distance. Number 9 is to check for high-quality zippers. If your zipper breaks while you are away on vacation, it can completely ruin your entire flight and leave your belongings scattered. When you are checking out a bag in the store, or right when you unbox it at home, you need to unzip and zip it all the way around multiple times. You want to especially notice how smoothly the zippers glide around the corners of your suitcase. If it catches or stutters on the corners when the bag is empty, it will definitely fail when the bag is stuffed full. Industry standard YKK zippers are widely known to be the absolute best zippers around. But the main travel tip here is simply to make sure those zippers feel completely smooth along every single step as you are gliding them open and closed. Now, a lot of these bags come with built-in TSA-approved locks. Personally, we never actually lock our luggage. Because airplanes are so incredibly full these days, my carry-on has ended up getting gate-checked down to the belly of the airplane many times at the last minute because the overhead bins fill up completely. Even with my bag being checked last minute, the zippers have held up totally fine without using the locks. You just never know when your bag will be forced into the cargo hold, so those zippers need to be incredibly strong. Now for number 10, which is a massive pet peeve feature of mine. If you are right-handed, you absolutely must look for this feature in any kind of suitcase that you own. I want you to stand up directly above your suitcase and look straight down at it. You obviously want the main telescoping handle on top, but you also want the fabric or plastic side-carrying handle to be located on the left-hand side of your suitcase. There is a very specific ergonomic reason for this. On a properly designed bag, the side handle is balanced perfectly with the top handle. The main reason you want the side handle on the left when looking down is because the hand holding the top handle needs to be your strongest, muscle-filled arm because that arm is bearing the vast majority of the weight when you lift the suitcase vertically. Your left hand or your slightly weaker arm is then perfectly positioned to grab that side handle and glide it smoothly up into the overhead bin or place it onto a luggage rack. If you turn a poorly designed bag around to force the handle to the other side, now your weaker arm is trying to lift the heaviest part of the suitcase. And you are simultaneously twisting your wrist awkwardly upward to hold the bag, which is now sitting completely unlevel. It makes lifting a heavy bag way too difficult, so just trust me on this one. Or go try it out in a retail store and you'll instantly see exactly what I mean. Our bonus number 11 travel tip is to look closely at the actual usable space inside the suitcase and make sure the lining and shell go all the way out to the physical corners. You are going to desperately need every single inch of that corner space to pack your travel essentials efficiently. I genuinely think this is the most overlooked feature in luggage design today, especially when it comes to carry-on bags. Having truly squared off corners is incredibly helpful for airline passengers because it structurally means you can pack significantly more clothing into those exact same exterior dimensions. Before you head over there, please don't forget to like this video if it brought you value and subscribe to the channel so we can keep helping you travel smarter. I really hope this helps you avoid a terrible purchase. If we haven't met before, please drop a comment below and say hey. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.